Hi everyone, and welcome back to Vintage Scrap and Stitch. This is Stacy, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Federal's Sharon Cabbage Rose Depression Glass pattern. So before we take a deeper look at this beautiful and highly collectible pattern, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe so that you get notifications of new videos posted on other Depression Glass, kitchenware, McKee, Jadeite, Fire King videos that we have coming down the road. Let's take a closer look at Sharon. All right, Sharon Cabbage Rose, referred sometimes together, Sharon Cabbage Rose, sometimes solely as Cabbage Rose, sometimes solely as Sharon, available in pink, which may be a close runner-up for the most collected pattern. Also available in amber or golden glow, depending on which area you're located in, and then also in green, which is a little bit more scarce but becoming more available, and then just a few pieces manufactured in crystal. So if you take a look at the pieces that we have, and we have just a few pieces here, for example, this is a very, very small sampling of the wide variety of pieces available in this pattern. You're able to collect a full service, probably for $12 in the pink and the amber color. The green has fewer pieces available, and because it is so hard to find, it would take you longer to accumulate what you would need for a full service if you intend to use this as a setting. So let's take a look at the pattern, a little closer look. The pattern is characterized by a spray of roses, antique roses in the center. The outer rim on most pieces is characterized by these vertical bars, divider ridged bars, and then you have sprays of the rose in between. You can see how that transfers to the covers and the lids. And then even if we lift the cheese tish base up, you can see it's pretty much the same. Cups transferred vertically, the panels go up and down, and the spray is just a little bit different, fewer roses, but still in between the two panels. On the crystal tumbler, you can see, and this is a large, this is I need to double check the name of this tall, I believe it's an iced tea, but it's the cone shaped. And you can see how long the panels are and how long the spray of the flowers are in between them. Another characteristic on this particular piece for Sharon is that there is no decoration on the foot. Some patterns, some glassware patterns have a paneled base as well, but you can see on the panel of the tumbler here, it is plain. And if I take you back here to the candy dish, the footed candy dish, you can see it is also plain as well. No design on that foot. Another factor, if you're concerned as to whether or not a piece you might be looking at is real, that is another telltale sign for you to look at. So in the back, I have a 12-inch oval platter. Again, take note of the panels and the spray in between them. So it carries through, the design carries through in all pieces with the panels and the flowers. They just look a little bit different. And that happens with the different sizes of pieces. You can expect that. Again, available in pink, amber, green, and crystal. Let's take a look at some other pieces and telltale signs. In the front here especially, we have a butter dish and a cheese dish, and we're going to talk a little bit more closely about them. Just wanted to pop on real quick here with a correction on the green Sharon. This is 2023 when Depression Glass was first popular. The green was extremely difficult to find and very expensive. And you will see that indicated in your price guides from in the Jean Florence price guides. You will see that as shown here. Look at those values on the green in the right hand column. And you can see here the cheese dish in green not available, a flat soup not available. However, pieces were made in the green, almost the same pieces that were made in the amber and the pink. They were just not made in the same quantity. Thus the reason for the price increase in the time. It was all due to availability as well. Now in 2023, we are seeing a few more pieces of green come out and collections and so forth, and prices are low. So if you're interested in collecting the green, now is a great time to grab it. Okay, everyone, taking a closer look here at what might constitute a place setting that you would be able to collect in all colors, with the exception of crystal. Crystal, they manufactured very few pieces, and they were for specialty purposes, often as promotional pieces for different companies and so forth. A dinner plate, which we see featured in the back here, is 9 inches, that or 9.5 inches. That is the largest plate. Is available in all 3 colors. A 6 and this is just a 6-inch bread and butter plate, which can be called a dessert plate as well. A cup and saucer. And then there are various tumblers, like a 9-ounce flat tumbler, which is a water tumbler, an iced tea tumbler. All of those are available in all 3 colors. This is a 15-ounce footed tumbler, which in the day would have been considered like an ice cream sundae or a soda fountain tumbler. It is available in crystal, amber, and pink, but it is not available in green, in quantity. You may find one out there, which would be a rarity or an oddity, but they were not mass produced. So those are pieces that you could use to make a service for 8 if you wish to use this for dinners or to serve a meal. Salt and pepper shakers are available in all 3 colors. The creamer and sugar is available. Platters, which we see in the back, available in all 3 colors. The footed candy dish in the back here is also available in all 3 colors. I think I mentioned the creamer and sugar. There are butter dishes, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, that are available in all 3 colors. And then lots of different sizes of berry bowls and sauce bowls and so forth are available in all 3 colors. Again, the green may fetch a little bit of a higher price right now because of the uranium glass and because it is so hard to find. But it is a good pattern that you can get a lot of the same pieces in all of the different colors that it was manufactured. A word here, we've had a couple people ask, how do you tell the difference between a bread and butter plate, a 6-inch bread and butter plate, and a 6-inch saucer? Note the difference here. This is your butter plate on the left. It is 6 inches. It is more of a flat plate with a larger ring, and the Rose of Sharon spray is in the center. The saucer is a cupped edge plate. Let's see if we can do this here so that you can see the difference. It is cupped edged, a little bit higher, not cupped, it is flared, but it is raised, and you can see that, I think. The butter plate on the left is flatter. This is raised on the right, and the cup ring is in the center, which is a dead giveaway, and it's really not a well-defined cup ring, but there is a ridge here. to prevent the cup from sliding and to kind of hold it in place. Now, some other companies have really defined cup rings here. This one is a little bit less defined, but it is nonetheless, you can't, it's visible, but you can also feel it if you run your finger through there. So take a look at the design again too. The saucer has no spray or rose design in the center. It does have a deeper band with the panels and the Sharon rose spray in the center. It flares up. Just because it doesn't have that spray in the center doesn't mean that it is not a part of the Sharon pattern. It is. So just an FYI on that. We have had questions on that, and I just wanted to define that for you. All right, so again, the tumblers, and I have to apologize, I don't have more of the flat tumblers. We've got them somewhere, but I don't have them accessible. If you've got flat tumblers in any of the Sharon colors, please post a picture of them in the comments below, and that will help other collectors out. All right, let's take a look at the cheese dish, the butter dish, and talk about a jam dish up next. Alrighty, two favorite pieces, actually three, there's a third one that is connected to the butter dish and the cheese dish. The third one is a jam dish. And these have some very similar qualities, but also some very different qualities as well. And for the longest time, they have been a perplexing to some collectors. So we're going to try to take that mystery away and go over a few things. So we are talking about the Sharon butter dish and the cheese dish. A couple of discerning factors. First of all, the lids are the same design in that the grids are pretty similar, with the roses in the rose clusters in between each of the panels. The knobs are the same. However, on the butter dish, the surrounding ridge underneath the knob is a little bit smaller than on the knob on the cheese dish. Other than that, they are similar. More perplexing on these two pieces, especially for the lids, is when you start to talk about the reproductions. And there are reproductions in both pink and I believe amber. I believe it's just pink in this piece. I'll put a note in the description to clarify that. But there are some discerning features when it comes to the knobs. But basically, the lids are the same as far as measurements go and even depth. You can see there is the wide band, clear band, no pattern on the band going around, just the pattern on the top. And the same holds true for the cheese dish lid, which again is the same with the exception of the slightly larger panel underneath, or ridge underneath the knob on this one. So the lids are the same. What is the difference in the bases? Like the saucer and the 6-inch bread plate, the butter dish is approximately an inch, inch and a quarter, it might be an inch and a half off the surface, where the cheese dish is a flatter surface with a more narrow rim, whereas the butter dish base has a wider rim. So the rim on the butter dish is around an inch and a quarter. The rim on the cheese dish is around 3/4 of an inch. Both of them have ridges or rings for the lids to fit on. And you can see with this one, it's the low flat plate. The Rose of Sharon feature is in the center. You have a little bit of a flared ridge. This is a flatter rim, and the ridge that the lid rests on is 3/4 of an inch from the outside. the butter bottom, which is very close to the flat soup in this pattern also. A very common and lovely dish for this pattern that is available in all three colors. It's great for salads, it's great for soups. It's like a deep plate, but that one, you have a ridge about 1.25 inches from the edge. Let me see if I can get this, show you this rimmed edge here, and it is about 1/8 inch wide. Right here, I'll run my fingernail through there. The rim that the lid sits on is about 1/8 inch wide. Then it flares deeply down into the center, and you see the Rose of Sharon into a smaller center than the center on the cheese dish. The jam plate, or the jam base, is very similar, almost identical to the butter dish, but there is about 1/4 inch difference in the height and in the rim here. So you really, to discern between the two, jam dish and butter dish, you really need to measure. In any case, if you find one with a ridge on it, I would purchase it. It is the bases that are harder to find in both of these pieces, in the butter dish and the cheese dish and the jam dish. It is the bases with the ridges on that are the harder to find pieces. Again, you'll see this shape as a flat soup or a deep plate, but it will be smooth down through here. Only when you get the ridge do you know that you have either a jam or a butter dish. So those are the points, similarities, and differences. Let's take a look again at the height here that you can see. The cheese dish on the right, butter dish and jam dish similarly on the left. And let's take a look here too. You can see the rim on the cheese dish is actually more raised, rather than there being something for the lid to actually rest on. There's a slight rim here, but is less defined than on the butter dish. It's more of a raised or embossed ring that prevents the lid from sliding off. So those are your details, bits and pieces about the butter dish and the jam dish. There is one of these I just want to clarify real quick. The green, let me look here. Green, you can find a butter dish in green. The cheese dish is not available in green. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not listed in any price guide that we have, any reference that we have been affiliated with. The amber cheese dish is by far more readily available. Still rare, still hard to come by. The pink cheese dish is really still very desirable among collectors because it's harder to find. So those are your tidbits about Sharon Cabbage Rose. There are some reproductions with this pattern before I go, and I just want to highlight them. Predominantly in pink. They were made in Taiwan. There is a paper label on most pieces that you see. The first reproduction was in pink. I believe now there are some amber pieces, but you will see them in cobalt and some other solid, more dense colors. They are not originals, but they are collectible. Keep that in mind whenever you find them. And there is there are some other discerning factors in the design, but again, at this point, if you find them, they mix and match very well. It's completely up to you. I did want to point out the difference in the knob on the butter and the cheese dish compared to the knob on the candy dish, the footed candy dish. All of those finials, so to speak, they're different, they're the same. are very similar, but they do have the ridge on the bottom, and just another telltale sign for you to take a look at when looking or when deciding if a piece is federal Sharon Cabbage Rose or not. So again, a good reference guide by Jean Florence or Barbara Mousy, Hazel Marie Weatherman is going to go a long way in helping you identify these pieces. We'll list some resources in the description. Please, again, if you have a collection of Sharon Cabbage Rose or pieces different from what I've shown to you here, please post a picture in the comments. We welcome any of that, and share the information that you have. Thanks very much for joining us, and happy collecting.